What is up YouTube, and today we're going to be talking about the current limited summon banner featuring Byblis as well as her artifact Old Gardening Shears and if they're actually worth going for. I want to make this video because a lot of newer players are kind of thinking about limited summons in the wrong way. I've been seeing they think that every limited banner is something you need to pull for, but honestly some of the limited units out there, maybe including Byblis as well, are just not as good as you might seem. They're going to be a lot of limited units that are actually worse than non-limited ones, and that's just because of how their kit is designed. So talking about Byblis here, so she's primarily used to counter-attacking units. So you're going to see that when an ally suffers a counterattack, she'll get CR pushed by 20% and activate pretty much an extra attack, which is only activated once per turn. It's an AoE attack, decreases buff durations, also has an 80% chance of defense break, and will also heal all of your allies, and this heal will scale with the target's health. So this heal is pretty thick most of the time. We also have her S3. It's a heavy debuff hitting skill here. You will decrease buff durations again, decrease hit chance, which is very annoying, and also remove 10 souls, which is very powerful in World Arena. You'll also give everyone on your team a barrier. She also has a silence in her S1 that will also push back the target's combat readiness by 20%, which you can soul burn for 10 souls to increase it to 100% chance. So on paper, she looks like a very good answer to counterattacking characters, right? But you have to keep in mind that it says at the top here when an ally suffers a counterattack, this will not work on stuff like ML Bologna's S2 or, Edward Elric's S2, Batback and stuff like that, or even Remur's S2. I don't know why, but that's how it works. So you have to keep in mind that this will only really work against like counter sets and like Elbrus, so that's a big negative. And also, because her S2 actually is like a extra attack, counter attack type of thing, so if you pick Byblis into counterattacking units, especially in World Arena, if they pick like a Lionheart Sirmia, you get like countered by the counter, right? So basically you're in a very tough situation. So even though you pick her as a counter pick to counterattackers, she has like a weird counterattack herself. So you can counter her with another counterattack counter, if that makes sense, right? So it's just, in that case, like why wouldn't you just pick the Lionheart Sirmia instead of her, right? That's basically what I'm trying to say. Now on the good side though, she does work well with Rwana. If you pair her with Rwana into a counter team, and they don't have any counters to Byblis, what ends up happening is you get a ton of healing, a ton of shielding, and a ton of debuffs, which makes it pretty much a free win. But she does have a lot of downsides, most notably just being easily counterpicked because of the fact that her S2 is like this extra attack, counter attack. So it does make her very hard to use in World Arena and RTA unless you pick her very, very late in the draft, right? Now for offense teams, sure, she's great. You just pick her into teams that have counterattackers, but not really much of those lately. So you're not going to see that much value. So I think overall, not really worth going for. In overall general content, Rwana can take her place just fine, and Rwana is a must-have character for PvE anyway, so you'll have her, and she's also very easy to build, and she's available from this story summon, so you definitely do not need to actually get Byblis, because you can just pick up Rwana here. If you scroll down, you'll find her, and then you will basically have Byblis but better. You can use Byblis in PvE for like Nightmare Raid. I'm sure they'll have it listed for some of the bosses. I don't know why I can't click it. Do I have to hold it down? Yes. So for Queen, she's very good, but Rwana is also very good in Queen. So yeah, she's kind of just replaced by Rwana in a lot of content. So not really worth pulling for. Even though she's limited, I would say, within a tier list of limited characters, she's probably in the bottom half because, yeah, she just is not that great. Now for Artifact, it is Ranger exclusive. It looks pretty cool, after you use an attack that targets all enemies except for basic skills, so her S2 and S3, and Rangers do have a lot of AoE abilities. You have a 60% chance to inflict a random debuff on the target, and a 50% chance going up to 100% chance if you have it maxed to give yourself stealth. Now the debuffs that you can land are not that impactful. Decreased attack is pretty good, decreased speed is whatever, unhealables whatever, silence is probably the best one. But it's RNG and it's 60% to get it to even activate, so it's pretty weird. And the stealth, even though it sounds great, you're way better off using Guiding Light. Guiding Light guarantees you stealth at the start of the battle. At the end of your turn that you take, you don't need to use like an AoE attack. You have a chance to get stealth for 2 turns, which is a lot better than that 1-turn stealth, right? And that refreshes as well if you activate it again on the following turn. So all in all, I think Byblis, even though it's a limited banner, she has a side story running, and she seems very kind of like Christmassy, winter holiday themed because of the blue and white. Not really worth going for. Definitely save your bookmarks. I don't really know what's to come to the future, because Smilegate's been kind of lacking in terms of like content and with collaborations and, you know, fun banners and stuff like that and fun events. But you know, definitely not worth using your bookmarks and splurging on Byblis, nor is it worth it to use it on Haste and his artifact, because there's not that great either. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys are hoping for the next banners, and I will see you guys next video.